So it was Father's Day this past weekend, and I want to take this opportunity, and I know we've talked about this before, but thank our dad for our love of sci-fi and fantasy, and just why we really like those kind of movies and TV shows.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, your shirt, although that's a controversial shirt.
Is it?
Because it's The Last Jedi. That's why. Controversial movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Dad got us into all the sci-fi, and I didn't think about that. Fantasy too, you're right. Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
I mean, he read The Hobbit to us when we were kids.
He did, yeah.
Which is why then I read the Lord of the Rings on my own. So yeah.
Nice.
Owe it all to him.
Mm-hmm.
And this crazy podcast that we do wouldn't even exist, probably.
That's true. And I mentioned before, one day we will get him on here.
Yes.
When we do Blade Runner. That'll be the one.
That'll be the one.
Ridley Scott, yep.
All right.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, we love you, Dad. And don't retire yet either.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time. I'm your host, Josh. And in winter, my duty to the wall is even more dire than the one I owe to this podcast.
That was good. Man, I didn't think about to personalize it. That was good.
All right, and then my co-host, Jered.
They killed the boy.
Yes. Oh, you went dark with it.
Mm-hmm. I did. Final line. Out of context, though. Not a spoiler. You don't know unless you've seen the episode.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to talk about House of the Dragon. We're going to talk about Dark Matter and Acolyte. Acolyte. I still say that weird.
Say it different every time.
I don't know how to say it. But before we do that, a little bit of what we've been watching.
Yeah.
What have you been watching?
I will say I am caught up on everything that this
week.
Yeah, as opposed to last week. Yeah. Although we're still technically Dark Matter's like.
Yeah, and then even. Well, yeah, because it comes out on Wednesdays, and then we're recording a day late this week. It's out, and then of course it also Presumed Innocent has a new episde out too.
Yes, it does,
and it's very tempted to watch either of those.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I will talk about that more in a second. Or do you want to have a little Presumed Innocent segment?
Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit. I mean, we can do it here and now if you want.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the ones I had because I mentioned it last week, but I wanted to mention it again because it's way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
and
it is really good.
Yeah, and I think specifically the tone of the show is so good because it's very dark, but it's, I don't know, they just do a very good job with it. Well, you mentioned is it the writer or director? David E. Kelly, writer.
Right, writer, kind of showrunner, probably.
Showrunner, okay.
Yeah. I think
we already know he's good. And all the actors are good in this, but shout out Jake Gyllenhaal again.
Yeah.
He's awesome in this.
He's good.
Yeah, what do you think of it? How much did you watch of it?
I've watched the 2 episodes that they dropped.
Okay.
Just haven't watched the new one from yesterday.
I've only watched the first one actually. Because I was kind of holding off a little bit.
Oh wow.
I wanted to savor it a little bit more. So
yeah. No, and then I mean I feel like don't they land? I mean, it's a pretty good cliffhanger. I know the second one does. Yeah.
Well, the first one does too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it did. Because I didn't watch them back to back. I think So.
Well, I think I asked you this last week, but are you familiar with the movie at all?
I have not seen the movie.
Okay.
I will say, I think all in all, yeah, it's really good. I do think it's from an acting standpoint. I don't love the performance from the person that's playing his wife.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. There's something about her that just like kind of how you feel about what's his name in Dark Matter.
Okay,
like, it's just like it's not like terrible, but it's just like something about her is just like I don't know. There's something.
It's weird because I told you last week she's in another show I really liked called Preacher, and she was so good in that. Yeah. So she's good, but
I believe it.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never seen Preacher, and so I don't. And she doesn't seem familiar to me in general. I just
She's been in some other things too. I can't think of all the top of my head, but yeah, I just what I really like also is they kind of explained in a way why Jake Gyllenhaal is so jacked, because like he obviously was filming this when he did Roadhouse, because he's like, but he's just a lawyer, you know. You're like, and he's like, I swim a lot, and you're like, okay, I don't think you'd be like lean, but I don't know if you'd be like anyway. Right. It's funny because you see him swimming, and I'm like, this looks like how he looked in that movie, which is just funny. But yeah, no, I love this show. I was already looking forward to it, but didn't think it'd be this good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's really good. It's really good.
And do you know, because I think I wasn't sure about this last week, it is just a mini series, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, how many? I mean,
sometimes that doesn't matter. They'll still pick up
like I
Big
feel
Little
like
Lies.
there's a lot of
David
things,
E. Kelly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are miniseries and then they claim that's all they're going to do, and then they become these hits, and then people think there's money here to be made because it is a business.
Speaking of that, Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun. There you go. Yeah,
2 and 3. They said 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
so if we're gonna do it, let's go big.
Yeah.
You know,
I am happy that the main guy, he said he's still gonna be involved. The main actor,
which he was one of the producers.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same directors or showrunners.
I don't know.
That I don't know, but
I would hope so. I feel like there's
hopefully.
a lot. I feel like it was a labor of love for a lot of the people involved.
Oh yeah.
And so I can't imagine them not wanting to work on it again. But but maybe. Yeah. So how about another thing that we can both talk about that's not on it, since your list?
Another thing we can both talk about?
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Hitman.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So,
let's hear it.
Yeah. I've watched that movie.
Yeah.
The week after you did.
Nice.
Because last week you tried to talk about it. It was so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I figured you would like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so much fun. Like,
it is
just so much fun. And, it kind of, I don't know. Like, it's such a weird, because it starts out and you think it's more of a, I don't know, like almost like the underdog learning how to be this better, person than the guy that he replaced at this job, that kind of thing. And it's almost like, the nerdy guy winning or whatever. But then at some point it switches to being the romantic comedy.
It does.
And like, it does it so well. And then by the end you're like, anyway, and then it's just, there's some things in there I think that does a good job of like not doing what you think was going to happen.
Right.
And then in the end, it's all based around true events, which is the most ridiculous thing.
I think I was reading something about it. I think some of the ending was the only thing that they kind of
they definitely changed stuff because they definitely didn't kill anybody for real.
Gotcha.
Spoiler. So.
Yes, spoiler for him. I mean, there's not like a ton of anything to spoil, but
it just
the ending part. Yeah, that's what I heard was different.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
But this really was a guy that just was like randomly doing work.
Yeah,
and he was his teacher, and then really
became a undercover hitman.
Yeah, I just love it. That's what I was saying last. Was this also last week? I was talking about this. Okay. Even the name of the movie, like it's not what you think at all. That's what I.
Right, because the name kind of implies that, like,
you think he's gonna be an actual hitman.
Yeah, like he's gonna play. He's an actual hitman, like action.
Because you see, like, even him dressed up as different disguises. You're like, oh, he's gonna be a hitman, different disguises, but no, that's not what he's doing. But yeah, it's so fun. I was saying last week, we already know this guy, Richard Linklater. He's a great director, but like these kind of movies are newer because this kind of feels like a more old school kind of movie. In like the type of movie it is, I should say, because that's what I was saying. Like, this is a brand new movie, and I was saying that I hope more directors do this kind of thing because we don't get a lot of this type of movie anymore. I would say, and normally it has to be some huge franchise or something. Yeah, but Yeah, it was great. Yeah, how'd you feel about my girl from Andor in it too?
She's great.
Yeah, she was awesome. Glenn Powell though, like
Yeah, he's great.
all the
He's
even his
killing
main character is just so like you're like he's so dorky, but then all the different personas or whatever he does is it's so good. Even that opening scene, that really long opening scene, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Great, so good.
Yeah, no, it
still was like 2 hours long, but it was
didn't feel it.
No,
it was a lot of fun.
Paced really well.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what else are we watching that I didn't watch or?
I have. Oh, The Boys season 4. Did you start it yet?
I did not start it.
Okay.
Yet.
I haven't watched all because 3 episodes came out and then it's gonna be weekly. I haven't watched all 3. Watched the first one. I won't spoil anything, but I don't really have much to say. It's still good. I figured it would be. It's been very good and consistent the whole time. I've been seeing some stuff where people are like kind of over it now, which is weird, but I still think it's good.
Okay.
Some people are saying this is like the worst season. Another thing I heard is they confirmed next season is the final one.
Yep.
Which I'm happy about because they could keep this going for too long.
Yeah.
I think 5 seasons is perfect for this because they're still going to do Gen V.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing another spinoff too, probably.
Why
Yeah.
not?
So, yeah. So, still good. I'm interested to see how crazy this season's going to go because it always does every time.
How unhinged is it going to get?
Yep.
Cool.
And then, did I say that's on Amazon? I mean, everyone probably knows that. The Boys is on Amazon.
And Hitman's on Netflix.
Hitman's on Netflix. Presumed Innocent is Apple.
Apple TV Plus. Yeah.
My last one is another Apple thing. Older, but I know you'll appreciate this. I finally finished Shrinking.
Oh, you hadn't finished it?
I had not.
Oh,
and
wow.
I know you said you even rewatched it, didn't you?
It's not completely through,
Okay.
but I did start rewatching it one of the times and I just felt like I wanted to watch it. Yeah.
Well, it got me into because I don't know why I stopped watching it like back when it first was on, but then seeing that kind of new trailer for Apple stuff, like I think it was in there, right? The second season,
Yeah.
there were some clips. I was like, oh
And
yeah,
Harrison Ford. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, I need to get back to that and finish it. It's short anyway, so I finished it pretty quick. But I really like all the characters in it. Obviously, especially, honestly, Harrison Ford, which I'm like, I can't believe he's in this show.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
He's so good, and it's
He's so
not
funny.
It's not
He's
Harrison Ford we ever see, really.
Yeah, that's what's great about it.
I know.
It's like to see him play a role that's like unexpected,
Very unexpected,
but then still do such a good job at it.
Yep. Obviously, Jason Segel too.
Great.
Great.
But yeah, the other lady, I don't know.
I like the main girl too, not his daughter. The main, what is her name?
The other lady that there's so there's the neighbor lady.
Not the neighbor. I mean, she's great too.
She's great.
She's from
Her
Scrubs.
Yeah, and
that's why I was mentioning Scrubs earlier.
Her husband though is hilarious.
Yeah, he is. He's so out of nowhere. Like just the stuff he does.
Well, she's the what's his name that made the main showrunner that did this and did
Ted Lasso and Scrubs.
Mm-hmm. That's his spouse. They're married.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, and I remember,
and she's almost playing the same role she played in Scrubs. Like just the
I would say she was in Scrubs.
She's a little bit softer version where she's a little bit more caring. Because in Scrubs she's just like
she's like 2 of 10 always just like screaming, or just getting angry, yeah. But
anyway, his coworker / friend, his deceased wife's best friend.
Yes,
that's she's great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I liked her a lot too.
I don't know her real name, but
no, I don't either. But
actress, but
yeah, I liked her a lot too. Yeah, so that's a big thing. Obviously, with the comedy is all the characters, and if you like them, and I liked everyone in this. Really like the balance of comedy, but very serious and very real issues too, like that they deal with, and it's a good balance of that throughout the whole season. And I'm excited. I had a feeling, just because I'm like, there's no way they could keep getting Harrison Ford for this. Like, I just thought he'd be in the first season. That's it. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's still in the second season, which is great.
I think what's his name? I'm drawing a blank name that plays Roy Kent, because he's the other writer and
show
creator of this.
I saw that. Yeah, he's involved in this.
It's like more his idea. Like he kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had an idea and went to. Trying to think all these guys' names.
I know who you're talking about. The creator of
the guy that did it, and then they were like, let's pitch it, and then they and this was his idea. So, but like I was listening to an interview around the same time this came out, and he said that like they were just like, hey, Harrison Ford would be great for this, and somebody was like, oh yeah, well I know him, and then like they just or know his agent or something, so he just pitched it, and he was like, yeah, let me.
They probably thought they were like, we're never going to be able to get
but it was like, just ask, and then he was like, he's like, yeah, I love this, and then
it's crazy.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it was like, it's the kind of actor where like probably everyone was intimidated at first, like acting with him. You know what I mean?
100%.
I bet.
100%. Oh, and because I think also just like with Ted Lasso, then Jason Segel was the other like kind of writer creator on it too.
Oh, nice.
So which is Jason Sudeikis is on Ted Lasso,
right?
So like they kind of like took the same formula and then like redid it with this show, whereas like you kind of find a lead that can also help with the creative process and make it kind of their own, and that's kind of where they created this.
I also shout out to the theme song, Death Cab for Cutie. I don't know the name of the song, but I like it.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is pretty good for like some of the music they
it is
in the show is good, because they even put out a playlist that's probably still out there on Apple Music when it dropped, and I was listening to it a little bit because it was just like, yeah, there's some decent stuff on here.
Yeah, I like the theme song a lot though, but I mean I like that band anyway, but I didn't recognize the song, so I didn't know if it was one that they made
specific
just for that show or if it's something new they did, because I haven't listened to their new stuff. But cool. Yeah, so finally finished that. My next one, because I have a few Apple shows that I know you finished that I have not finished yet, because I just kind of stopped. My next one, I'll talk about soon. Finally going to finish Silo.
Oh,
I'm on like the last episode. I don't know why I haven't.
That's also another one.
I know that's another one coming
teased
up
in the trailer.
So I'm like, I need to get on that.
The Apple TV Plus like fall winter promo, like that they kind of released last week at the developer conference.
The other one, which this one would be quick, because
did they put that trailer online somewhere? Because I only saw it in
they have it on, because I follow them
on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, the Apple TV YouTube channel.
This week, and so probably just
the other one that I will also finish soon, and it's short, is Platonic. So I will finish that soon
that's fun too.
Because that one's fun.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever watched Trying?
No.
I
that's one I thought you would like, but I didn't think I would be into it.
But they were just talking about it recently on a different podcast I listened to, and how like they said it's really good, and I was like, oh, maybe I added it to my list to like look at again, because I think we tried watching it an episode or two when it first came out, and it just didn't grab me, and so there's so many other things, but so
I don't know what happened. I just there's like several different Apple shows that like I will start or even got halfway through and then just completely stop. So I'm kind of starting to get those down, even though it's the worst time too, because we're in like a really good TV month. But
yes,
it's easier with, that's what I was saying, Platonic I can get out of the way pretty quick because it's like 20 minutes. Same with shrinking 20-30 minute episodes. So
yeah
that's my last thing for stuff I was watching. I wanted to real quick, unless you have this on your list, I wanted to do a quick video game moment, because I know you're a huge Metroid fan.
I didn't have it on my list because I saw the announcements on Twitter, but I haven't actually gone and watched,
you haven't watched
the Nintendo Direct and any of the like actual stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll hold off then.
But
I was just wondering your thoughts, because
I did see that there's a Metroid 4 that's coming next year.
Finally.
And then Metroid Prime 4. And then the new Zelda game where you play as Zelda and not Link. And then there's a new Mario Party That was the other thing that I noticed that stood out to me. Now there might be other stuff that I didn't catch, but those are the things I caught, and I was like, oh,
yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because I don't know much about Metroid, but I know you're a
oh man,
you're a huge Metroid fan.
I replayed through Metroid Prime 1 because they re-released it and did a remaster of it for the Switch.
Which are they doing 2 and 3 remaster?
I don't know. People have been speculating, but like if they didn't announce it at this, like it would be something they could release this year, leading up to the 4 next year.
That's usually what they do.
But maybe it'll be Nintendo's weird with their marketing.
They really are.
They'll be like, we won't talk about this now, but then like 2 months later, this fall, just because when they announced the remake of the original Prime, they were like, available today.
Yeah, sometimes they do the shadow drop. It's just like, yeah,
okay.
Which I think is cool when they do that.
Yeah. So
but their marketing, you're right, is kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. The Japanese people, I guess they think differently than we do.
They do. Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So is that all you got?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So I got 2 other. I'm going to mention Ghost on Paramount Plus.
Ghost
is a great show.
Okay.
And then we had been watching it using someone else's Paramount Plus, and then we didn't have that anymore. But then I recently
have Paramount.
Got Paramount Plus because they were doing a special where it was like $50 for a year with the no ads and including Showtime. And I was like,
that's a great deal.
And I was like, sure, $50, yeah. So I got that. So then was able to start Ghost season 3, and it's as good as it was before.
Is this the British show?
It's the remake of the British show.
Okay.
The premise is a couple moves into a house, an old mansion, and they're going to fix it up as a B&B. Her husband, they moved from New York City, and they're out in the country somewhere. And then her husband was a high up chef, and so he's going to have his own kitchen and do the food, and then she's just going to do the B. When they get there, they find out it's haunted, and she's the only one that can see and talk to the ghosts.
Okay.
And then there's different ghosts from all over. Like there's like a guy from the Civil War, or Revolutionary War, not Civil War, and then there's like a Viking even.
Nice.
And then and then there's even like a stockbroker 90s dude died. So because over the years it's like they had to die on the property to get stuck there, and so it's so it's pretty funny, really well done and clever in a lot of different ways, and it's just this
is the American one.
Correct.
Wonder how the British one is.
I don't know, but I don't know where you can watch it, but this is on Paramount Plus.
Nice.
And it might be on CBS too, like on on the actual channel. I don't know, but it's enjoyable, and just wanted to mention it.
Cool.
And then last but not least, Inside Out 2, went and saw it in the theater.
Nice.
2 nights ago. So good.
Yeah?
Yes.
How's it compared to the first one?
I mean, you can't beat the first one normally. That's very rare. But I would say it's just solid follow-up. The concepts of the first one just playing out, and basically our main character hitting puberty, and then it revolves around that, and introducing 4 new emotions to the mix.
It's a lot when you for puberty.
Yeah. And there's just some hilarious moments and clever things that they do in that, and then even throw in this old granny shows up as nostalgia, and then they're like, hey, you're here a little too early. We don't need you for another decade, and then they kind of push her back into the thing because she comes out and she's like, remember when
yeah. Yeah, wait till you're in your 20s.
Yeah, at least something. Yeah. But no, it was good, and definitely was feeling having the feels a few times, as Pixar always makes you do.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was wondering if it was Pixar. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then also just a little tidbit, it did fantastic, evidently, on the box office.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's always good to hear, because it'd been struggling, and there had things that movies hadn't been doing so well.
Even good stuff is not.
Yeah, hadn't been doing so well for the last month. May was pretty bad. But yeah, so.
Yeah, Furiosa, I heard, was did horribly.
Flop. Yep. Yeah, several things it may. So,
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, let's get into. Let's start with Dark Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 7, In the Fires of Dead Stars. So Jason and Amanda visit a breathtaking world. To hide the truth from Daniela, Jason 2 takes desperate action.
Yeah. I didn't know that was in the description. That was like kind of one of my main notes. It was like, the world that they go to.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Right. So, yeah, I hadn't noted about that.
It's like, a cool visual.
Cool, especially when they're at dinner above the clouds in the sky, like these buildings that are tall enough to be above the clouds. That was really cool.
Oh, that scene didn't end too well, though.
No, it was a sad moment.
Sad scene, but
yeah. Though, you know, he slipped her a few extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I continue to really like this show and the things it's doing.
Me too.
It and I feel like almost every episode, it's like I like it better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being smart with the things it can do, and this was a cool, and we only have two more. This. So I wanted to say, so I pulled a quote I really liked, and it's actually from that world where Amanda says, "No world can be perfect, but we have to choose to make our life as great as it can be."
Yeah, I remember her saying that.
Yeah, and I thought that was really a really good line, and it really applicable no matter what.
Yeah,
but I think that really positions where Jason 1 and Jason 2 are, right? Jason 2. So in this episode, he kind of starts to realize, like, even though he found the situation where he actually married the woman of his dreams, so to speak, I guess, like, and then, found that one, and yet he's starting to like not be happy either,
right?
Because happiness doesn't come from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to come from you, and being content with who you are. And so anyway, and so like you see that from Jason 1, who is happy with who he is, and then he's also very happy with his life. And then Jason 2 obviously has been battling with himself and doesn't like who he is, I guess. And obviously we don't have as much backstory of him, but I just thought that was really a poignant line, and it kind of speaks to those two guys, and we're seeing the two sides of them, and then just like, inevitably. And then of course, and he starts to come on too strong to the therapist that he's been going to, because
right,
she's that world's version of Amanda. Mm-hmm. And then she gets creeped out because he knows way too much about her. And
I don't know why he's
such a
It's not very smart the way he goes about things.
Now, I did want to say, as much as I'm enjoying it, it was a funny it's like, oh, we're gonna have him box it in and concrete it in, but then we're gonna write this little like side thing where he gets it's like almost like you could see the seams around writing that plot point of like them making him have to go find a different one of his the friend that he like left in a random world, and then the cops think he's missing and dead, and then he has to, like, because they're getting a little too close, and it's like all that side story is only so then there's a reason for him to break into the thing again.
True.
And then allow our main Jason to come back to his world, which is where we end the episode.
Yeah. Do you think that's something they added that's probably not in the book?
I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised. I'd be interested to know, because it just feels like, I mean, I don't disagree with from a storytelling span, especially as a plot point, for him to concrete that in. Like, that was like, you're like, oh my gosh. Cause I think that was like a cliffhanger at the end of one of the episodes, like 2 episodes ago or whatever.
Yes.
Where he's like, yeah, let's close it up. and then like those guys come and pour concrete all around it, and you're like, oh my gosh, how's our protagonist, our lead, like going to get into this world then? And so it's definitely was an interesting thing from that perspective. But then they had to figure out a way to get it back open so I don't know. It was like a little bit like, oh, okay,
yeah. There's even though we both like the show, there's always a little bit of that, I feel like, in every episode so far.
Correct.
But yeah, as long as they stick the ending like you were mentioning, then
which
I think it would be a high recommendation to people then.
Yeah.
As long as the ending's good. I wanted to say also, because last week I hadn't seen last week's episode.
Oh, right, so you had two to watch.
So I saw that too, and it's funny seeing. Well, I feel like we see the most different variations of his wife, right? And it is wild to see how different, like, not only hair color but hair length, style, all that. Like, she looks so different in so many different episodes. Yeah, like because they've done a lot of different versions of her.
To Jennifer Connelly.
Yes, exactly.
just gotta say that again.
Yeah, I know. You got. Yeah,
I will say that I don't think the blonde works as well for her, but
but that's what I mean though. So like it's still a big difference. It's like, whoa, like when you see it, and I mean the way they set up that scene, it's like it's going to be her before it, but it's still kind of like, it's crazy how different she can look in this show. Like they do that really well. Yeah.
And just even the nuance of being the same person but not the same person.
Yes.
I think she does a phenomenal job of like acting that, which I mean, our Jason character, he doesn't have to do that as much because we really only see like the two versions of him, so to speak. We did see the third version, or that one other version of him, like he's like creeping, watching them sleep.
Oh yeah.
But it's like,
which also that scene, what are you doing, dude? Like,
I know, but I also think it is. They're trying to, I think, in a good way. I think they make you feel a little empathetic for Jason 2, because then you're like starting to see Jason 1 like almost get to this point. Same when he says that he's like, I can see where he got to the point where he did that to me.
Yeah,
because he's like, because I've found he's gotten worlds that aren't his world, but like ones where she is there married to him, and he's like, I'm watching this like thinking, how can I replace this guy, kind of thing. Right. So I think it's interesting in being like kind of honest with how probably people really would feel. So yeah, it's still good.
It is. Yeah, we'll see 2 more. Well, the next one's already out.
Yeah, we just have one.
So it would be next Tuesday will be the finale.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Tuesday night. Dang.
Maybe. Well, yeah, we gotta figure out how we're recording stuff next week anyway.
Oh, we gotta change it probably.
Yeah, I'll be in Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. You're going to. Okay.
So, but yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Okay.
All right, now let's talk about the Acolyte episode 4, Day.
This doesn't have a slash.
No.
In the name.
No.
Okay.
Racing to the next target, the Jedi head to a new world as they close in on the clever assassin. All right.
Wait, what was the beginning of that summary again?
Racing to the next target.
Oh.
The Jedi head to a new world as they close in on the clever assassin.
I would say more slowly hiking to the next, not racing. Definitely not racing.
All right, so this episode was directed by Alex Garcia Lopez. He did several episodes of The Witcher and The Punisher and Daredevil.
Sick.
Yeah.
Man, last week too. They have good directors for this.
Mean, most of the Star Wars stuff too.
Right.
I mean, The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's Star Wars, and you're like anybody that's
no one's gonna say no.
Anybody that's probably 60 or younger, you grew up, even whatever.
I don't think any director's gonna be like, nah, I don't feel like working with Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah, because the potential of even working on one could lead to then you being able to pitch for like a film or another TV show.
Yeah.
So if that's something you're interested in, because once you get your foot in the door,
that seems to be more coming down to the writing again. Then
yes, 100%.
I think that's a big thing.
100%.
Not as much directing then as the writing. Okay.
Yeah. So tell us how you feel about this episode.
I was optimistic. I'm like, it's got to be better than last week's,
and it was. It was definitely. Oh, come on.
Yes,
come on. It was definitely better than last week's.
There's not much happens still though. Like that's what I mean. Like the summary of the episode too. It's like takes them forever to even.
So yeah. So I have like little notes about this.
Yeah.
So first though, I wanted to mention, because like I'd agree, it's still third. I mean, I think it was better than last week, but still, episode 1 and 2 were better.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did want to mention there was just when we started this, and I don't know if it was just it was me in a different headspace, whatever.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the score to this one. And I didn't notice as much in some of the other episodes, but this episode, for some reason, it really I was like, oh, I really I really like this music we're hearing score.
No, I do too. I forgot to mention it. I had it written down on the first episode when we covered it because I looked up who was the composer, and I didn't recognize who it was, but I really like it too. That's another thing. Just like the directors, they always get someone really good to do the music.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the shows even having like a not Star Wars feel to them. Now, again, you're never going to get to the John Williams heights, but
but
honestly, the closest I would say is the guy that did Ahsoka, because he did the animated shows. Yeah. And I want to say he's gotten the closest, or one of the closest to the John Williams sound. But I agree. Yeah, I like the music.
And another thing, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not in the other 2 weeks we've covered this, but the little droid, the new droid, really like actually the little droid, like the tool / droid thing that she has.
It's a cool idea, yeah.
And just think it always impresses me that in the Star Wars world they come up with a new type of droid that you're like, oh, it's so cool and cute or whatever. And I mean, like R2-D2, obviously the original, but they have a personality. So I think in this, just like in some previous films and shows, like it's definitely a standout thing. And I don't want to, because I know there's things we don't like about this, but like that right there, is also like a thing that's like, I don't know who does those or where that comes from, but like so clever and so good.
No, I agree, and I mean, I said this when I think at the beginning, first episode, was really excited about the time period because we've never been in this time period. But also, I liked how much they were jumping around to different planets and areas. And for the most part, I like all the areas, even in this episode, like it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and looked practical also, it's felt like it's Star Wars, but it's just almost all the dialogue though, and just the characters and what they do is just, that's what doesn't feel Star Wars to me.
Yeah, I agree. So speaking of the other little note before we get into some, I think it's funny when they make fun of Jered or whatever his name is. Like they kind of like Osha and then the other Padawan. They're like they kind of almost like I don't know, like they just kind of make fun of him, and he doesn't even, because he's so almost like the douchey Jedi. Like
that guy. I was trying to remember who's that.
He's like the younger but Jedi guy. And there's just a couple moments. Jered, something like that. I don't know. I just thought that, and there was one of those in this episode too, and I thought, it just makes me laugh because like that's different. Like I don't feel like you've seen that dynamic, but like in Star Wars, but like it would totally be a thing you would see in this kind of where it's like, oh, they've been around, they have these, they're training all these different Jedi at different levels, and And you definitely would have the people that are just kind of a little too cocky and a little bit oblivious to their cockiness, and everyone else is just making fun of them and that's totally this guy. So anyway, I like those. So there's elements to like the things that are good like that, but then just like the overall bones of the writing, the dialogue is lacking.
Yeah.
But then anyway, one of my notes was, okay, so they get into the woods and they're looking for they're trying to trace down the assassin / the Wookiee Jedi. And they come across that bug.
Yeah.
Now, cool concept.
Yeah.
The bug. But then it's just one bug. And none of the other ones came alive.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, is this like, would it? So
foreshadowing, probably. They'll probably have to fight him later.
Okay. I mean, if you
probably,
think.
I don't know.
When I'm watching that, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It just seems so. And then I'm like, this is the opportunity where like you have a cool action scene, except for it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, is it a budgetary reason? Like,
maybe,
why aren't we, making it more interesting to watch? I don't know. Like it just, I don't know. Thought it was weird.
Yeah. It's not great because I would say the other thing is for the most part, the costume, set design, all that feels like Star Wars, but the Wookiees, something off about them. They look kind of weird compared to like how they look in previous movies.
Okay.
I don't know what it is though. I couldn't pinpoint it.
But then we get to the ending of this episode, and and all of a sudden, then our main bad is there. So she all of a sudden realizes the other May realizes that she's like, oh, I actually don't need to do this. My sister's alive. Whatever. So we're still like confused on like really her motivation. She kind of alluded to he would kill her. She didn't follow through with this stuff. So whatever that is. And then he's there. Now, I think they made him look cool and scary and creepy.
Yeah, I like the design. Yeah.
But also like, I mean, is he so OP that he can just blow away all these Jedi? They're just like, you're like
at one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And then of course it's the end of the episode. So
speaking of that again, such a jarring cut.
Yeah. Don't just like mid battle.
Like why?
Mid battle. Well, again, this is my last note is this should have been a movie. Like,
yeah.
Because also it was so jarring to also pick up right back where we were after episode 2.
Right, where we get none of that.
And then we
get none of that in 3, yeah.
Yeah, and then the 3 was just it was like so out of place. Yep. If you would have made a movie and then you kind of sprinkled that in a little bit of backstory throughout,
definitely.
And then trim down some of the stuff that's like not as interesting, like kind of moving slow. Yeah. And then fix the dialogue, but that's
that's a tall order, that part. But
I think you'd probably have somebody else writing it if you were making a movie, and they would probably be better at writing dialogue.
Yeah, good. Why do I keep forgetting his name? The Andor guy.
Oh,
he's like one of the best at dialogue. Yeah. No, it made me think of, and I bet once this is over, someone probably will do it. Have you seen on YouTube someone recut the Obi-Wan show?
Oh, I've not seen it, but that was 100% could have been a movie.
Yeah, they recut it into a movie, and I think they even changed like the coloring for it to feel more like the color grading, and I think they even added in some stuff like it's crazy. Like this person went all out because I saw a little behind the scenes of it, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm like, yeah, this is probably the way to go for that.
Yeah.
It's just wild that like random people are doing this better than
because that show definitely had some great scenes.
Yes,
and so like if you combine all the good scenes and cut out the fat and make it into a 2-hour movie versus the whatever it was it 6-8 episodes? How many was it?
Yeah, I think pretty much all of them have been 8.
Yeah.
Although, Obi-Wan, maybe 6.
Yeah.
I feel like that one was shorter.
6 40-minute episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess then you're only cutting like 30 to 40 minutes out to get it down to 2 hours, but If each episode's about 40 minutes. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing. But.
I only have one other thing about this.
Yeah.
Is because they bring back a character that's in Phantom Menace that is part of the council.
Mm.
I don't know if they say his name in this episode. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I was just like, that scene was so bad. Like the talking and the dialogue in that scene. I was like, I didn't believe anything they were saying.
No. This character though.
I don't remember because it's been a long time since I watched.
Yeah. Well, this character, because I needed to. He looked familiar, and then I looked it up. I'm like, okay, it is him. Apparently, he says a very pivotal line in Phantom Menace that makes it so this show they have to do it in a very specific way, or they're breaking the whole George Lucas canon of those 6 movies.
Yep.
And apparently, they kind of do break it in this episode, which I was like, dang, did they not?
What is it he says? Is that?
Oh, it's a line where he's like, where they first bring Anakin. You know, he's a kid to the Senate, and then he says, Qui-Gon mentioned something about a Sith, and then speaking of Darth Maul, and then this character that they brought back for this episode says that's impossible. The Sith have been gone for a millennium, which would be 100 years.
Okay,
and this. Because of this happening, like breaks that or unless he's just lying now in Phantom Menace saying that.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So, well, 2 things. One, do we know this is really a Sith?
No, we don't.
So,
I mean, he's got a red lightsaber though. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So there's that, but then also
there's ways they could work around it. Yeah.
This got brushed under the rug, just like they've been talking about.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious to see
he's just
how
like it's his little secret, and actually people in the council don't know it happened. So he's just playing off that doesn't happen. I mean, it doesn't look good for him and his.
He ends up dying in the prequels, anyways. I remember at some point, but that character
because they all do, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right? At some point, yeah. But anyway, I thought of that, and I was like, okay, it's just because of that, like they have to be very careful with this and specific, and that's why I'm wondering how it's going to play out because of that.
Yeah, who knows?
So,
all right, save the best for last.
Yes, for sure.
House of the Dragon, season 2, episode 1, A Son for a Son.
On Father's Day.
Yeah. As Alicent grows concerned by Aegon's small council, Rhaenyra arrives at a fatal decision. All right. This episode was directed by Alan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Did 7 episodes of Game of Thrones back in the day. He also did an episode of Blue Eye Samurai. Thought that was interesting. And also directed Thor: The Dark World.
Oh.
Other films too, but I'd say ooh. The directing's not bad. It's just the
that was like that was the weaker of the Thor movies.
Yeah,
I haven't seen in a while, but from what I remember.
But I think like from a overall,
sure,
it's just the story. I mean, he didn't write it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so overall thoughts on this episode?
Well, I want to say first it was a little hard to get back into since it's been basically 2 years.
Yeah,
since
almost.
The first season.
Yeah, almost. In like 2 months, it'll be 2 years.
Wow. Okay. But
so like 22 months.
Yeah. But I mean, no, it was still great. Actually, I think this season's going to be even better than the first season. It seems to be that way. This already is started off strong. I think we're going to need a cheat sheet just like we did for it's very hard, and they all have very similar names too. Correct. And there's so many. Correct. It's going to be tough to get all these names down, but yeah, it was great though. I like the new opening. Yeah. They changed it up from the first. It's interesting though, keeping the same theme song though.
I know. Well, I feel like it's just that's a crutch that they're just using because it's like
it's essentially like nostalgia now. Yeah, that's how long it's been since yeah. But no, I like the new intro.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot better than the one they had for season 1.
Yes, and I mean, pretty brutal ending, but very Game of Thrones, you know, and I think it's setting up the season because I don't know anything about the book that this is based on, but it's obviously setting up a big war. I think this season's gonna have a lot more of that because first season was way more just kind of inside the two.
Yep.
What do they call it? The greens and the blacks, right? How they kind of are aligning themselves to one side or the other. And now this is going to be more, I think we're going to get a lot more action this season, which is great. And yeah, I'm excited. I think this is funny. This is kind of the opposite. Like the writing and dialogue in this is so good.
Yeah.
So a very different contrast to what we just talked about. But yeah, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a strong start. I had just a general note. I wrote, it feels good to be back in this world.
It does, yeah.
And then, of course, the other general note I had was, it feels good to watch something that's crafted at this level.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, Shogun was probably the last thing we were watching that was kind of at this level.
Because it's everything. It's the visuals, it's the music.
100%. Like,
yeah, right.
It's just like even the opening shot, and it's like through the mist of the little woods, and there was a bird, and
dude.
And then
I have a note about the opening.
Okay. But so
it's exciting.
And so I mean, just like that was like the feel. I was like, oh yeah, we're what you know. You just know you're in good hands, and that's you know. But yeah, no.
Well, speaking of that, actually, to go along with that, because I saw this name in the credits, and I recognized the name and looked her up. And she was not involved with the first season of this, but Melissa Bernstein is a producer on this. And she was a producer the whole time on both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So, I don't know what all is involved with being a producer.
Well, on shows like there's multiple producers.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So what role is she playing? Yeah.
But that's exciting though, because I don't know how heavily she was involved with those other shows, but if she had a hand in that, I think it's going to make this season even better, depending on how much she does with it. I don't know. In general, what does a producer do? Especially if you have a lot of producers.
I mean,
do they just fund it?
No,
that's executive producer.
Executive producers sometimes can just be people funding things, and that can be all they do and just get their name credit on there.
Yeah,
at the simplest level. But I mean, you know, producers all kinds of stuff. Like just a lot of behind.
They just have a say in it, I guess.
A lot of times, a little say. They're kind of, for lack of it, they're like the studio's people to kind of make sure things are happening that the studio wants to happen. It's the simplest way.
So like the high ups don't have to.
Right.
It's like the producers come in.
They're like the people there on set or on, and in general. Now, and then they kind of help coordinate and organize things.
Okay.
You know, kind of along. Yeah. I mean, there's just lots of different things they can do. But
anyway, I recognize the name and
looked it up, and then you're
so hopefully that makes the second season even better.
Cool. Yeah, so get into a little bit of the episode. It was really cool to see Winterfell
and the wall.
And the wall in the beginning. Yeah.
I don't remember their names. I mean, it's just cool that the Starks are going to be in this season.
And then they have the Starks,
Yeah, because I think the name was mentioned in the first season, but that was it. I don't think we ever met any of them. But yeah, this was great to literally just go there, because like you were talking about how the bird's coming in and like immediately you see that, you're like, oh, you know right away what this is.
Yeah.
Unless you never watched Game of Thrones, I guess. But
true. I guess
it is funny also the two people that were interacting on the wall. I'm like, it was kind of funny to hear how they talk, because they both talked exactly like Jon Snow, which is funny. But
well, for a second, the voiceover there at the beginning, which that was also good, like
it was
dialogue written, whatever. But like for a second, I was like, "Is that what's his name?" And I was like, "No, it's not him." But
no, it's too far back. He wouldn't be.
No, I meant like they just get the actor
just got him to do it.
the
Yeah,
voiceover.
maybe.
because it's
No.
But then I think
It
it
did
was.
sound like
I think
him.
it was just supposed to be that's the guy. It
Yes.
might have been the same guy that was played the Stark.
Yeah.
Person that yeah, but yeah. So that was cool. I like how Aegon
Mm-hmm.
the second, right? Second, is that right? Anyway, the guy that's the king currently on for the green side.
Yeah.
He like seeing him like trying to be king was fun.
It was,
but also like I think it was good to see because I feel like initially he was kind of bratty and kind of going down the path of Joffrey.
Oh yeah,
and so it was cool to see them. I don't know, kind of like give him a little bit more balance. I guess the best way to put it. Like he's not a complete.
no, right, because he still helps out some of the people when they ask.
Yeah, and really, what's his name? The Hand, like, kind of draws him back, or he would have like helped everyone. Like he was just like, "Well, we need to help," and he's like, "We can't do that for everyone," you know.
Good balance, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just thought it was cool to see. Like he's really just a kid. Because then later, the scene where our mouse and cheese, as they've been known, not mouse and cheese, cheese and blood or whatever.
Blood and cheese.
Yeah, blood and cheese, not mouse and cheese. Blood and cheese. Walking through there, and then he's just hanging out with his buds.
That's crazy.
Like drinking and just being like.
But it's crazy that they could just do that.
Because it's not. I mean, he should be walking around, and the other guy's just a guard.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he's just helping. They're just putting mouse traps or rat traps around.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
So,
I guess.
Yeah.
It is funny though. It's just like you think he'd be more heavily guarded. Yeah, the throne room, like.
I mean, the guards are there. There was guards there, but like.
Yeah, but they weren't suspicious at all.
Because the guy's just walking through.
Yeah.
I mean, if they started charging the throne, they might.
Sure, yeah.
The guards probably would have done something. But yeah, it's like it's the Game of Thrones version of just holding the ladder. You can get in anywhere.
Yes.
Except for this case, you're just holding rat traps and you can get in anywhere.
Mm-hmm. True.
It was cool to see the White Worm survive.
Yes.
Thought that was cool because I liked her character in season 1.
Me too.
And so that was neat.
And then Damon still being Damon.
Oh, well, always.
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect less.
No. He's great.
Yeah.
He's such a great character.
Yeah. Because you never know, even though he's kind of want to root for him a lot of times, but you like never know. It kind of actually reminds me a little bit of Loki sometimes, like right in the Marvel tonight, where you're just like, you like the guy, but yet he's making some bad choices.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty consistently.
He's very chaotic.
Yeah.
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 Because he could do good,
Mm-hmm.
but he could also do a lot of damage. And
for sure.
Yeah.
And then one note about Sir Christian Cole.
Oh, geez.
This guy.
I know.
This guy. So he's basically slept with both ladies.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And he made such a big deal about it with Rhaenyra, right? In season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just like, sure, you're piece of man meat for you and for Alicent. So
he's it's so funny. It's like, especially if you remember how he was. He was the very beginning of the first season.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was such a man of purpose and man of principle, and like
I thought he was like one of the best characters
Lancelot,
when the show,
like Sir Lancelot kind of type character.
And then now it's like, dude, this guy sucks.
Yeah, and he's like, and he really doesn't do anything. He's not like, so like, yeah.
And now he's the hand of the king, right?
He's not the hand.
No,
he's like the king's the head of the
guard.
King's guard.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not the hand of the king. Yeah.
And but it's one of those things where like he's so like non-principled, because even like you can respect people that are like, you don't like what we were just talking about Damon, like it's like you don't care about it. Like a lot of times he makes bad decisions, but you still like him as a character. This guy, you're just like you stand for nothing,
I know.
and so then you're just yeah. I don't know.
He's changed so much since the very beginning of the show. Yeah, in a big way.
And then, so what, anything else you want to talk about other than that?
I didn't have any notes. I'm just trying to think, anything else besides obviously the big thing that happens at the end.
Yeah.
There's another character I wanted to mention.
Well, there was the queen that never was. Like she was patrolling.
She's still there. Yep.
She's still there. And then her husband, right? It's her husband.
Yes.
Right. That has like the ships, and he was getting his ship repaired.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna create.
Yeah, that's right. They're blocking off the whole.
It's a trade.
That whole passage
to get into the King's Landing. So then they don't have food and stuff, I guess, as much. And then. Well, the other scene that was interesting was seeing, the pirate patch kid, and Sir Christian Cole like trying to like strategize, strategery,
yeah. Yeah, that was a great scene. That guy, I forget his name, the eye patch kid.
Cheat sheet.
I know, we need it. He's so funny to me because he looks like he has like the permanent blue steel face on. You know what I mean? Like just the way he looks is just I like his character though, but it's just and
he reminds me of Damon the most. Like as like he's not actually one of his kids.
Yep. But of course I think we're gonna get a lot more dragons just in general and dragon scenes in this season, which is awesome because we already got a decent amount in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's always great. It looked better, but still not great.
I was gonna say like,
when they get on general, and off the dragon and when they're flying. Yeah,
in general they're good, but like when she dismounted and she's on that beach, like I was like, oh, that was rough.
Yeah,
like I don't understand why that.
I don't know, but the thing is that it looked better than what they did before, but it's still rough.
I'm also like, just don't show it.
I know.
Just cut away. Like you don't have to. We don't have to see that part. Like show her land and then cut to her a close up of her just like dropping off on a practical instead of like this. Yeah, it's like just don't do it. It's not. There's nothing necessary about it.
Also, I don't know anything about this, so I'm sure it's hard to get right. But like they're on like I've seen the behind the scenes. They're just on like a mechanical thing. So if they're dismounting off of that,
well, I think they're probably. I mean, that was probably CG. Like her character.
Okay, that's why. Because I'm like, how can they make that look okay? I guess because they have to be.
Around. I mean, like
they have to be tall enough too, and of whatever the size of the dragon is. Yeah.
So like I said, I would just have cut around it because there's no point to the story to see that.
No.
Like, because then the good part or the story part that's important is to see that the dragon's there and like mourning with her.
Yes.
Right, and I think that's the important thing there. But
that was speaking of that at the beginning, that was a good scene where they all are there and they all bring like different things.
Yep. And then even Allison is like doing
body that's being burned. Yeah.
And then and then even showing Allison on, back at King's Landing, actually still.
Oh yeah, she's
doing the same thing.
Yes.
Because
she's not physically there, but
because they still in this episode, she's still very hesitant to want to still go out at war because like she still cares about her friend and
Rhaenyra. Yeah.
Like because they used to be best friends. So,
yep.
But
just in general, that's another thing that's going to be good this season. Is it's all going to be taking place, I assume, around the same time, right? Because the first season was half. There's a big time jump, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming this season it's
right.
We're going to get to stay with all these characters in this time for Is it 10 episodes again?
I don't know.
I didn't look. Yeah.
Yeah.
However many episodes for this season. Yeah.
Yeah. So the final scene.
Yeah. This is apparently a big book thing.
Was it?
I've heard. Yeah. That's apparently way worse than the book.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the one question, because they don't really confirm.
Is it actually the boy?
Yeah.
All right. I know.
Because she's so delusional that, like, I don't know if you believe things that come out of her mouth. Now, she did say they killed the boy, right?
Yeah, she did.
But like,
because until she says that final line, I'm like, I don't know if this is the boy or not, but I don't think she would lie to Allison.
Well, it's not much a lie. It's just like she's so kind of spacey and out there.
True.
Like, I don't, if she really even knows what's going on. But
it is also, I mean, it's very realistic, but it's just funny. Like when she goes in that room, because her and Kristen Cole are getting down and like not phased in any way by her, because, I mean, which makes sense. I mean, she's just one of her
daughters.
Yeah.
Traumatized by seeing her mom having sex.
Well,
and at the same time, she just saw.
I would say, compared to what she just went through. Yeah.
But also, like, it's kind of crazy. There was no guards around.
Oh yeah, in that section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like wandering around a little bit, trying to get away, and like.
But again, yeah, I guess when she's like running away, they would have done something. But it's just like the other area where you said, when they're going around, the guards wouldn't do anything because they knew they're just taking care of the rats or whatever. So, yeah, I'm not sure. That was they did very well with the sound effects for killing that kid. It was, I honestly though, at first it was kind of unclear. I'm like,
yeah,
are they actually cutting off this kid's head or not? But that's apparently the implication. But
yeah. So what do you think is going to go next? Is it going all out war now?
Probably not yet. But I mean, this season's definitely about that for sure. That's what I mean. I think, which I hope it is. I hope we don't get much of a time jump at all. Like, this is like a perfect time for a whole season. This like build up to this war. So
the penultimate episode will be the war.
That's the
Classic
idea.
Game
That'd be great. Yeah. Do a battle of the bastards. One of the best battles, and that would be awesome.
So the real question.
Yeah.
Team green or team black?
I mean, honestly, there's things about both of them I don't like. So it's kind of...
That's fair.
It's kind of tough to really decide, but it's all entertaining though. But I can't really pick sides because there's good and bad to both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're...
So I'm going to stay Switzerland.
I don't know. It's like I know what you're saying, because like I'm like, in general, I think I've been more team black than team green, but then I don't want to be team baby killer.
No,
and that's just So we'll see.
I imagine also there's going to be that big of a retaliation that then they're now going to do to the other side. Right? There has to be.
I guess. I don't know.
It just seems like, if you're going to do something that extreme.
Yeah. That's where it came from, the other thing, the previous thing that was extreme.
Right, that's true. I guess when do you just decide like full out war, or just keep doing these crazy back and forth?
Or you're like, oh, okay, well, now we're even.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm sure it'll be a point of contention. Allison will probably be upset, but be like, well, we're even. And then other people are like, no, we need to.
Yeah.
Especially the current king, because that's his kid. That was his son.
Yep.
But he has another one, right? Because it was the older
Yeah.
one that was at the council.
That's the one thing. It's hard. Also, is like how many kids all these people have. It's like there's so many. It seems sometimes.
Yep.
And they all have like very similar names. And they all look very similar. It's tough. That's the toughest part. It's a little bit easier when they're adults. You can start, but like as the kids, they all look very similar. Yeah.
So, let us know. Are you team black or team green? Write in the comments.
Yeah. I want to see.
Send us a message. Send us a DM.
I just want to see if they'd named the second episode. Nope. No name.
If you'd like, you can also email us at feedback@screentimepod.com.
By the way, this first season was 10 episodes. This is saying only 8.
Okay.
A little shorter.
But yeah, we're going to continue to talk about Dark Matter, Acolyte.
Are we still going to talk about Acolyte?
I mean, I think we should. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
No matter how much we don't like it. And
no, I'll still watch it.
Because we're going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
And then, of course, House of the Dragon Season 2.
Yep.
So keep up watching those or not, whatever, and let us know your thoughts about any of that stuff or stuff that we're talking about or watching.
We got The Bear in like a week.
I know, and then we're going to throw on The Bear. I got to start Boys Season 4. Mm-hmm. So much good TV.
Yeah, it's a good month.
And not so good TV.
Yeah, both, yeah.
But, and if you like, you can follow us on Instagram. I'm at JYoungBar.
I'm at Jered Youngbar.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.